her flight.
And move forward. Okay? Tell her to pay us. Tell her to pay us, and then she can go. $10 each. Because you probably got paid for this shit, so we can get paid for it too.
On a public campus that we appease.
So what's the end goal here? We're cooperating, so what's next?
So they need to do their job. And we created the path. It's here.
I can't speak to all of you when we're over talking to each other. We're not going to hear each other.
Don't let her hold.
They know. You're up to you. There's a difference. So, what we want to do is maintain what we're doing right now. And as the speaker goes, we can continue our conversation.
I was made aware of the email last night.
And obviously, very general, but go in any direction you feel like. What was your immediate reaction?
When I saw this email, one of my friends who goes to the university sent it to me, and I had to reread it because there was clearly no mention of what actually happened. Anything that actually occurred, there was no mention of it. What they described in that email was how proud they were of their brave students who protested peacefully. What I experienced was peaceful. It wouldn't even be peaceful in an alternate universe. I mean, it was quite literally the exact opposite. Barricaded in a room where I could not leave for 3 hours, where they were yelling obscene, terrible, violent things towards both myself and these officers who were protecting me. It was atrocious. It was heinous. It was terrible. I missed my flight home. I couldn't fly home because I was stuck in this room where there was no exit. They blocked the stairways, so there was no exiting.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I wanted to do a quick update on this Riley Gaines story. We've heard from San Francisco State University, and it appears that there doesn't seem to be any concern for what happened to Riley. And once again, we're seeing a pattern here where they show more concern for the trans activists, for the angry mob who basically led her to be barricaded in a room for 3 hours. And as you saw there, they were even holding her hostage and saying, we'll let her go if you give us money. So they're showing no concern for what happened to Riley. She missed her flight and, you know, she was held against her will for hours while an angry mob outside, you know, shouted obscenities at her. She alleged that she was attacked, physically assaulted a couple of times by a guy in a dress. And again, no mention of that, only concern for the trans activists who behaved terribly, as we saw in those videos. They don't seem to show any concern for how their guests are treated at their university because of this, you know, protected group who can do no wrong. There were no arrests made. Another pattern that we're seeing when it comes to these incidents. No arrests are made, and we're yet still waiting for anyone to be held accountable for, you know, this terrible behavior. So let's take a look. The first sign of them not really showing concern for Riley was a tweet that she had to respond to, where she responded sarcastically saying, "Remember girls, you are disgusting and virulently transphobic if you don't want to undress in front of the opposite sex or be exposed to male genitalia without giving consent. Oh, you want fair competition? Transphobe." So, you know, she was responding to this tweet where the person again seemed to show more concern for the trans activists who behaved terribly and, you know, where she was even assaulted. And, you know, this tweet has since been deleted, but it says a lot. But what was more shocking was the university itself responded via an email. And again, a lot of people thought it was perhaps parody, satire, anything but real. But no, this is basically their response. I don't have my glasses, so we're going to make it work. So, San Francisco State University. Dear SF State community, today San Francisco State finds itself again at the center of a national discussion regarding freedom of speech and expression. Let me begin by saying clearly the trans community is welcome and belongs at San Francisco State University. Further, our community fiercely believes in unity, connection, care and compassion, and we value different ideas, even when they are not our own. SF State is regularly noted as one of the most diverse campuses in the United States. This is what makes our Gators, and this is what makes us great. Diversity promotes critical discussion, new understandings, and enriches the academic experience. But we may also find ourselves exposed to divergent views and even views we find personally abhorrent. These encounters have sometimes led to discord, anger, confrontation, and fear. We must meet this moment and unite with a shared value of learning. Thank you to our students who participated peacefully in Thursday evening's event. It took tremendous bravery to stand in a challenging space. I am proud of moments where we listened and asked insightful questions. I am also proud of the moments when our students demonstrated the value of free speech and the right to protest peacefully. These issues do not go away, and these values are very much at our core. This feels difficult because it is difficult. As you reflect, process, and begin to heal, please remember that there are people, resources, and services available and ready to receive our Gator community, including faculty, staff members, coaches, and mentors who are here to support you. So Riley responded saying, "I'm sorry, did this just say peaceful? I was assaulted, I was extorted, and held for ransom. The protesters demanded I pay them if I wanted to make it home safely. I missed my flight home because I was barricaded in classrooms. We must have different definitions of peaceful. Of course, this is what the left do. They did that with the BLM riots. Oh, these were mostly peaceful riots. Protests. These were mostly peaceful protests while they're crying about J6 for years upon years, comparing it to 9/11. Same old textbook behavior from the left here. Again, no regard, no concern for what happened to Riley. Absolutely a huge slap in the face for Riley and for the people who support Riley and believe in what she's doing. San Francisco State University clearly are showing where their loyalties lie. They're not trying to be neutral. They're not trying to be objective in this situation. They basically showed no respect for Riley and what she was put through on their premises. They're talking about wanting diverse viewpoints, but then people who come with opposing views are treated this way, and the university shows no concern, shows no remorse, no regret. Absolutely disgusting. And it just goes to show once again that these people are protected. They can do no wrong. Even when we are seeing the tragedy that happened in Nashville, even with that, where children were murdered, more concern is shown for this community. We saw what happened over in Canada with Billboard Chris, where he was attacked, physically assaulted by these trans activists, and there were police officers there laughing.
Hey everyone, it's Billboard Chris. Had another successful day having conversations on this Transgender Day of Visibility. I'll upload some footage later. As you can see, I've been assaulted a few times. I'm covered in dirt. And the Vancouver police did nothing about any of it. So stay tuned for some footage. Thank you. Police are mostly indoctrinated as well. They're afraid of the mob. They're afraid that if they do anything to keep law and order, that they'll on the end of this abuse. So it's cowardice from everybody all around.
People probably want to. How do you keep your composure? How do you keep your composure?
Nothing.
One female police officer was there laughing. Just because this is somebody whose views you don't agree with. And all he was doing was saying that children should be left alone. That's all he was saying when it comes to this sort of thing. Let them decide when they're old enough to consent to a major surgery that's going to leave them infertile. It's going to take away, sexual function, is going to take away their body parts. How about we wait until they're old enough to consent? That's all he was saying. That's all his billboard, hence his name, said. And he was physically attacked, and no arrests have been made.
Riley Gaines is one of the bravest people we know, and we're grateful to have her join us tonight. Riley Gaines, thank you so much for coming on. Was that as horrifying as it looked?
I mean, it was terrifying for me. The police did not inform me of any sort of action plan. Turning Point USA invited me to the campus. I delivered a very civil and respectful speech where I had great dialogue with even protesters who were participating in a sit-in. All of a sudden, after my speech, the room was stormed. The lights were turned off, and I was rushed with no one there to escort me to a safe place. I was punched, I was hit multiple times, I was shoved, until finally we exited the room. But we could not leave because the protesters flooded the halls, and so I was pushed into a classroom along that hallway where I was barricaded in for 3 hours.
3 hours? Why didn't someone with a gun come and bring you to safety?
Because they were terrified. They were scared to put their hands on these people because they know what these people are capable of. These people yelled obscene, violent, vulgar things to both myself and the officers, I could tell, didn't feel comfortable putting them in a position that would mean they do their job, which is a really scary, chilling thought.
This is the most dangerous extremist movement in the United States right now. It's getting bigger, not smaller. It's gaining steam, not losing it. The White House has endorsed it. I mean, what does this mean for you? And I just can't say it again since I happen to know you. You are an inherently moderate person who means harm to no one. But are you worried about your safety going forward?
You know, I am worried about my safety. I have to be now. When we have people who are willing to do this, and we know why they're willing to do this, it's because they don't have reason, they don't have logic, they don't have science, they don't have common sense on their side. That's on my side. And so they protrude by violence, whether it's physical or verbal violence. But what this means for me, this does not deter me. This assures me that I am doing the right thing. This will not silence me when they want me to be silenced. It just means I need to speak louder.
Really quick, did anyone in the state of California in authority, any political figure, for example, defend you?
No, not the dean of students, not the campus police. I will say the city of San Francisco police that stepped in, they did a phenomenal job in escorting 3 hours later. But I will be pursuing legal action. I will ensure that the people who physically assaulted me, the people who put me in that position, they will face repercussions.
I'm glad to hear she's pursuing legal action, and I'm sure she has a lot of support from sane people who, want her to keep going in what she's doing. The same with Posey Parker. She said that she has to up her security now, and it's very expensive. It makes me so sad to hear that these women are literally being attacked because people disagree with them, when all they want is for women to have their spaces protected, for women to have their sports protected, and to be left the heck alone. That's it. That's all they're fighting for. And if people want to go and live their lives, identify with however they want to identify with, that's that person's choice to do that. But it should not infringe upon the basic human rights of women to participate in sports, to have fair participation in sports, and, to be protected in their bathrooms, in their locker rooms, even in their prisons, to be left alone, even in prison. That's it. So I commend Riley for what she's doing. I think it's absolutely disgusting, the response that has come out of this whole situation, including right up from the very top. But we shouldn't be surprised, because even with actual hate crime where children were murdered, again, they're showing that their main concern, are these trans activists, this cult, this angry mob of people, like she said, who don't have logic on their side, who don't have science on their side. They can't even define what a woman is. They don't even want to be honest enough to say what a woman is. And, they're now resorting to violence, and it's being endorsed from the very top. So again, I will encourage women to up their safety level, think about their safety, go to self-defense classes. If you're in a country that allows you to bear arms, you know, do some gun safety classes, learn how to carry safely, to operate a firearm safely. If that's not an option for you, get your bear spray, get your pepper spray, your alarm, whatever you need to do to up your security. Because again, this response is a wake-up call to all of us. So again, you know, I commend Riley, I commend Kelly Jane Keane, anyone who spoke up about this. Young girls who are in sports, female athletes need to refuse to compete with biological males. So let me know what you think, share your thoughts below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Oh.